even more deep into it.
Okay, we're live. We're live.
We're live. Okay.
Welcome everyone. Welcome
everyone.
YouTubers.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody for coming. So today, hopefully, our focus is kind of around healing, but healing is almost like wholeness. So we're trying to find the balance of all of this, and we'll each kind of, anything you guys can think of that you want to insert, we should all just, whatever comes to you. So what came to me this morning was looking this book called The Essene Way of Biogenic Living. So I've read it before, but it's been years. But Moses had used a lot of these Egyptian teachings, and it's been covered over through the times as to what was really, I guess, in the beginning. But I just wanted to read a couple of paragraphs, and it kind of sums up what I think healing is and can be. So this says here, I'm going to start in the middle. Moses had this law that he also called like the one law. So it's really interesting. He called it the one law. So the one law, which is really weird because we've been focusing on the law of one, but it's the same basic thing.
Ra talks about Moses in the law of one. That the name's a bit different, but apparently Ra communicated with Moses on the law of one, so that would make sense.
That would make sense. Okay, see, I didn't know that, but that's the way it kind of sounds. The very first paragraph says that the teachings which Moses brought forth at Mount Sinai were practiced 1,500 years later by Essene brotherhoods in Palestine and Egypt. This talks a lot about it, but I thought this was a good summing up of the healing. It says, Moses wanted his followers to realize that they are in constant contact every moment of their lives and in all points of their being with all the forces of life and the visible and invisible universe. And if they contact these powers consciously and become continually conscious of them, they will enjoy perfect health, happiness, and harmony in body and in mind and in every department of their lives. And then a little further down, I'll just read this next paragraph. And in later Essene traditions, the abstract idea of the law was conveyed by the symbol of a tree called the tree of life. Moses had received a great revelation when he saw the bush in the desert, the burning bush. They represented two aspects of universal life, warmth and light. The warmth of the fire symbolized the fire of life, vitality in the material world. The light, symbolizing man's consciousness, represented the light of wisdom, as opposed to the darkness of ignorance in the immaterial universe. Together, they represent the whole universe and the idea that man in the center draws life and vitality from all the forces of the cosmos. So I just think that we do have access to all of these, to all of it. We are so powerful beyond measure that we don't realize that consciously sometimes, but we just have so much power, but we have so many filters kind of blocking us from this vitality and pure perfect health and alignment that if we can tap into and flow with, that we will enjoy more of a perfect health and happiness in all areas of our life. So, and there's so many ways to do it and to get there, but it really is within every single one of us that has the power to do it. I believe yoga. I've got this Kundalini yoga book, which I'm loving, and I couldn't find a lot on Kundalini back in 2008, but anyway, there's yoga, there's Tai Chi, just all these things that help you kind of enhance the life force in you. I feel like that's probably one of the best ways to heal oneself, and then once we're healed, we can just heal those around us, which I really am into doing. I always want to help and heal everyone in my job and in my life. So, but it starts here, and the power is here. And when we heal others, we have to let them know that they are healing themselves. It's not me doing their healing. It's them doing their healing by their own belief in it. Almost like, does that make sense? Kind of what Christ taught is like, You are the light. You are the one doing it all. Anyways, I want to hear kind of some other angles, and maybe Jonathan, what you have been going through, because yeah, it's very, very broad topic.
Yeah, well, that would certainly tie in with what Bashar used to say about healing. When you're doing energy healing, it's like they're not receiving your energy. You're giving them the opportunity to match your energy. So it's like you're sharing an energy with them and giving them the opportunity to match your energy and heal themselves. So
yes, I think so. It's so true.
Yeah, perhaps I'll read that Bentinho post from today, because it quite ties in with what you just said. So
that was a really powerful one. Yes.
Yeah. So Bentinho Massaro, he's been one of my main teachers really since 2013, I think. About summer of 2013, I came across him. And I believe he's quite a big teacher of yours. You follow him quite a bit as well. Is that right, Bonnie?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of for the last about 3 years, probably I found him while watching Bashar, but the last 3 years I've really been, he's a great teacher, very powerful. Yes.
Yes. So Bentinho doesn't really talk about healing much, but he always seems to synchronize in with whatever's relevant for me. He's a very powerful mirror for me. So today he just happened to post about, or yesterday it says 8:21, he just happened to post about healing. So nice synchronicity. So I just thought I'd read out his post, because it also connects in with what Bonnie was just reading from what Moses said. So I'll put a link to this probably on my website. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Nefertiti Mystery School page on my website where I can put the links up to everything we talk about.
Yes.
So Bentinho made this post on Facebook, eye gazing and healing. That's eye gazing with an eye, because he just did a silent video when he was staring into the camera. And I don't know if you ever heard the term eye gazing. It's what like couples often do when you just find yourself staring into your partner's eyes for like ages, and you get lost in their eyes. But it's like it's got a very deep spiritual depth to it. And I've seen a lot of soulmates doing this, like recently, like people meeting up. And it's happened to me a bit, like just meeting people, and the first time you meet them, it tends to be with the opposite sex more generally, I've noticed for me personally, but not necessarily in a romantic way. It can just be with friends of the opposite sex. It seems to be something to do with the male-female transfer of energies. And we like sort of bump into each other in a cafe, and within like 30 minutes of meeting them, you like end up staring into their eyes, and it just takes us into a deep place of like God consciousness, deep presence inside. And it's so blissful. Sometimes you can just be there for half an hour or an hour just staring to each other in a public place, just completely lost in this deep consciousness. And so this is what Bentinho is talking about. And in the video, he like just stares into the camera for a few seconds. And so, what Bentinho calls it, he calls it eye gazing with an eye, pointing to the idea that when we're eye gazing, we're connecting with the true I, our true consciousness, our real self. I think it's, Bentinho used to say, because you sometimes hear people say about connecting with the I am, I am that I am. I think that was in the Bible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the idea is that I think we did the meditation last week where I took us into this state, didn't I? Where I kept pointing us back to our pure consciousness. Did we do that last week? I think we did.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was pointing us back to this pure I am state, the pure consciousness that we are beyond our mind, beyond thoughts, beyond all our form, like a more pure state of our being, our deeper self. And So I know Bentinho separates the I am out into the I consciousness and the am consciousness, or the I and the I am. And the I am is like presence, when you're in deep presence and oneness, and you feel like that stillness, what I was pointing us to last week in the meditation that's on the YouTube video, the last Nefertiti school video, where we go into the that deep presence, and you can sense that we are this stillness, but that stillness is in everything. So that's the I am, like I am everything. I am this stillness, I am presence, I am aware. It's like the manifest version of our true deepest nature. But I know Bentinho, and this is what a lot of teachers just call the I am, but I know Bentinho separates this out into the I and the I am, or the I and the am. And he says, he says, yeah, just a question from one of the people in the group call, I just saw it come up, is healing like coming into alignment with the ultimate truth? And I would say ultimately, yes, this is the ultimate healing. This is the healing of all aspects of ourselves, like integrating all the fragmented aspects of ourselves back into the ultimate truth, our true self, the I am, or the I that we're talking. I'm just going to talk a bit more about now. And I guess we can sort of break this down into lower levels. Like initially, it begins, with the healing of the emotions, the healing of the physical body. But this is all part and parcel of this general healing process of like integrating all parts of our life into oneness, into the ultimate truth. So yes, I would definitely say that's correct. Yeah. And so Bentinho talks about the I am, and you can, in one of his lessons on his True Infinity Academy, which is free, if you Google True Infinity Academy, you could do his entire academy course for free, and it's really awesome. So I'd highly recommend that. I'll link that on the Facebook page as well. So one of the lessons he does on this is about tensing the difference between the I and the am. And so the idea is that the I is the pure, or the I as he sometimes calls it, is like the pure consciousness, like it is our manifest self, because it's not the absolute, which is an even deeper level of ourself. Like he has these three levels: the absolute, the I, and the I am. And the I am is like presence and oneness, and sort of where most of us on the enlightenment path are sort of heading for. We'll be very, very happy if we can settle in that level permanently. And like oneness and presence, and feeling like the stillness in all things, in ourself and all beings, and in the manifest world, in the infinite manifest cosmos. So that's the I am, that's our true nature. But the I is kind of the awareness in which the manifest world is manifest. So it's like one step back from the I am. And it's a bit hard to explain, and I get confused myself when I try and put it in words, but we can sort of sense into this when just by saying, and this is the lesson he gives in the course, in the segment in his academy, it's we say I am. We go into meditation, and in the group we just did a little meditation, so we're sort of in a meditative state. But if you take yourself into a sort of meditative state and begin to feel into the I am, into the presence, quiet the mind, settle down into our centered self, and then just say I am. I am. I am. I am. And feel into it. Like feel into the sense of it. So when you say I, this is me. This is my identity, my ultimate self, like my highest self, I, my true nature. And when we say I and feel what it resonates as. Who am I? It's kind of like self-inquiry. Who am I? I So when you say I, really feel who you are. Who are you in your deepest nature? Who is this I? Who are you in your deepest self? Who is I? I am. And we can sense a different energy, a subtly different energy between I and am. I am. So I exist. I am just existence. I am like cognizant awareness, pure perceiving, pure awareness, pure seeing, beyond everything, beyond even the manifest universe. I am the awareness in which the manifest universe is contained. And this is the I. And the am is the manifest universe. I am the container, the pure awareness, the blinking on of the I. We can almost imagine like a blinking on of an I, as a blinking on of life, blinking on of cognizant awareness. And as we come into I-ness, awareness, pure awareness, before the manifest world, the I that the entire manifest world is held within, that is manifest within. We are in the I, the pure I state. And then the am, I am, I, the pure awareness, am the infinite cosmos, the infinite universe, infinite reality. I am. So the I is the pure awareness in which all of creation is perceived and manifest and birthed. The container that holds all of creation, the pure nothingness. But the am is the everythingness, the manifest world. The I is the container, the space within the infinite awareness, that the manifest am is birthed in. And so this is the idea. I, pure consciousness, am infinite reality. And you can sense it when you say it. It resonates on a different frequency. I am. I, pure awareness, am infinite manifest universe. I, pure awareness, am the manifest world. What on earth is that on your camera? Is that a cat sat there?
Well, the cat just came into the video and she just wanted to sit there.
Looked quite scary. It scared me when I came out of my eyes shut. And what on earth is that? It looked like a Yeti or something. I thought
brought in the cat.
I thought we manifest Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
No, we almost. Yes, want to say hi? Oh, yes. Here. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I like how you can feel. I've heard Bentinho explain it, but I like how when you really feel I am, how you can feel the difference. That's cool.
Yeah, you can really like sense how the I is the just like the pure. It's almost like light, isn't it? It's almost like, I sense it. It's even before light, but it's like the pure, the first consciousness before the manifest world is born, that which perceives creation. Yes. And then there's the am, and you can sense like am resonating through presence through the entire universe.
Yes.
And so this is what Bentinho posted, and this is why he calls it eye gazing and healing. So what he's doing in the video, he's just staring into the camera. So perhaps I'll do that for 15 seconds like Bentinho did in his Facebook clip. And the idea is that I'm transmitting the I to you. I.
I'm wearing rose-colored glasses.
Hi, Isabel. Welcome.
Hi, Isabel.
Hi, everyone. Wait, how do I see everyone else? I only see...
We're recording, by the way, Isabel. So you're going to be on YouTube.
Yes. My debut appearance.
Isabel.
Hi.
Hi.
Was saying before the recording, I hope Isabel will arrive.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
When we're talking about the I am, I wanted to say, when you say hi, I felt like purity, and am, I said like universe approbation. It was nice.
1 second. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you jumped in. So I was just staring into the camera, transmitting pure consciousnness to everyone.
And then I appeared.
And the eye appeared.
There's actually a legitimate reason I'm doing this. Somebody in Venice Beach showed me that, like, tech companies turn on, I think maybe you've heard about this, like tech companies, some of them use like blue lights to train your eyes to be more like attracted and addicted to the screen, and I'm such a phone addict, and I've noticed, and this guy was like, yeah, you go to your settings and turn on the red light and turn off the blue light, and I was like, and then I had these red sunglasses, and I noticed, I was like, wait, there's a much easier way to do this. So either one works. But I look ridiculous right now. I'm just gonna
They're really cool glasses.
What?
They're really cool glasses. They're like,
thank you.
Yeah.
They're like the glasses that you see people wear. You see a lot of YouTubers like wearing glasses like that, so they stand out, and everyone like their brand. So this could be your YouTube brand. They could be your YouTube brand glasses.
Yes.
Actually, I honestly prefer these like red. These like, hold on, I'm about to look like John Lennon. Hold on, I'm rearranging all my sunglasses because I'm collecting some glasses for every color of the chakra rainbow.
We just
So I've
rebranded.
noticed that these
Rebranded already.
So I noticed that when I put these on, besides looking like John Lennon, these are the ones that actually, when I use them, it's easiest for me to tear my eyes away from the screen and like receive my higher self and be like, okay, time to go. So I'm just gonna, wow, I really look like my grandma right now. She loves perfectly round glasses. Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Jonathan?
See you. Yev's got to go. See you, Yev. Thank you for joining us.
Yev.
Come back next
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
I couldn't find my brush today.
Okay, so I'll get back to it. We're mid in the part of a serious part of the call, or semi-serious.
Oh, this is serious. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the people on the YouTube call might have been interested to hear the rest. So.
Oh.
Do you follow Bentinho Massaro at all, Isabel?
No.
Do you know who I mean?
I've heard of him. My friend Luca, shout out to Luca Reno Napoli. He told me about him and he loves him, but otherwise I have not explored that avenue.
Okay, cool. So he just he doesn't talk about healing much, but just today he posted about healing, and it's sort of synchronized in with what we're talking about. So
perfect.
Yes. So you want. So quick to recap, we were talking about the I am. Do you understand the idea of I am, Isabel? Yeah.
Really? But yeah, I am that I am. That's
Yeah.
Again, Prince of Egypt, when he's like in the burning bush, God goes, I am that I am. Moses.
Yeah, we've just been talking about the burning bush.
Yes.
Yeah,
Serious? Reading about that burning bush.
Wow.
Yeah. Synchronicity.
Yeah, so basically, Bentinho. This is taking a long time. So I've only talked about the title of the post. We've been going for about 20 minutes. So Bentinho made a post called "Eye Gazing and Healing," and basically he just
There's an eye gazer in South America that all my Facebook friends made fun of once. Continue.
Yeah, eye gazing is awesome. So he just made a quick Facebook post where basically he just stared into the camera for 20 minutes and didn't say anything. 20 seconds, sorry. 20 seconds.
20 minutes.
I think he's probably done it for 20
does do that
minutes sometimes at the beginning of his retreats, though.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stare into the camera for the rest of this call.
Oh, but Jonathan said in the coffee we should gaze 30 minutes to someone. Yes, we're not thrown out by the waitress. We take our time to take the coffee and we stare. No, it's just a joke. That's right. But I really saw something great when you say I am. It's beyond words. Yeah, I'm gonna do that again after the session.
Yeah. So where were we? Maybe we're not supposed to read Bentinho's post.
We've been trying so hard.
Well, Bashar says there is no try.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't think we really need to read it and get in copyright trouble, because we've got to the essence of it already. So basically the idea is that the ultimate healing is connecting into infinite consciousness. Is the ultimate way to heal, is the ultimate healing. Is basically, in the post he says that when the deeper states of self-realization, and the deeper you're able to meditate and go into the pure states of I am, I, and even beyond into the absolute unmanifest reality, the more you're able to meditate and the more time you spend in those realms. And this also talked about in the Elizabeth Hyde talks about this in the book Initiation, I believe, which I recommended as part of the school's reading material, which I think Bonnie and Danny, you both got the book, have you?
Yes, I've just got it. I got all these books at the same time, though, so I haven't started it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm starting that this week. Yes.
I would like to share a mantra that it's really old hat for me. But one of my mentors gave it to me, and it's Hineni, Hineni. It's said once in the Old Testament, in the Torah, in the Bible, that I'm aware of. And I think it's around the burning, it's something with Moses. I haven't read the original. I haven't read the Bible because I don't want to read a bullshit book. But what was I saying? Anyway, I'm getting off track. So Hineni, Hineni, it means I am here, I am here. And it's just God talking, I think, to Moses, to somebody, saying, I'm here, like a friend. It's so personal. And I think it's one of the most personal statements in the whole book. And also, please edit out the part, before you put this on YouTube, please edit out the part where I called the Torah bullshit, because I have a huge Jewish audience, and that would be counterproductive to my mission, honestly.
Oh.
It's very difficult for me to edit this video. Well, it's not really, but it's easy.
Okay.
It's a lot easier not to edit it, because what I normally do is I just upload it raw. But it's all right.
And me, I heard Jesus said the Bible was the shit, but even Jesus Christ would say that the Bible is not is bullshit.
Right. And it's not bullshit. Like, there are so many gold nuggets. It's just been conditioned by
Yeah, that's what I meant.
malevolent people.
Yeah.
For economic reasons. But my audience, the ultra orthodoxy part of my audience, does not want to hear that, and their belief is so strong that they won't hear that. They just won't.
Right. No, they won't. They aren't ready yet, or maybe
Right.
they won't be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I get that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so we won't go into a debate about how valid the Bible is. That could take up 2 weeks.
That would be
That could take 2,000 years or 4,000.
I'm currently reading the Bible. I'm on about the 3rd page of Genesis, so I've got somewhere to go.
That was my Torah portion. Was the beginning of.
I think that's about where I ended.
It's all you need. The creation story is basically all you need, and whatever you feel inspired. So my Torah portion was on my bat mitzvah, which I'm not allowed to have according to the ultra orthodoxy. Was Genesis, was Bereshit, and I got to throw this in here too. This is so cool. So the first letter of the Torah in the original Hebrew is Bet, which is B. The very, very, very last letter of the whole thing is Lamed. And the Kabbalists say when you spell it backwards, that's Lev, and that means heart. But what about B and L? That's Bell. And my name is Isabel, and I don't think that's any coincidence, you guys. So, not to make it all about me, but it is all about you. That's the whole point.
Right. It is. Absolutely. And that's kind of what we were saying with the healing is it's in you. It's not out there.
Exactly.
It's in that. It's right there.
But it is also out there because the out there is all part of you and is a reflection of you.
It's all you, right?
Yeah.
But you got to make sure you know that instead of, because a lot of this world's made to take us away from take us
and
out there and look at this and look at that, so we get so distracted. But knowing that is all you and all you, we are all one. Law of one. I am you, you are me, we are all one. Yeah.
Isn't that a Beatles song too?
They knew. They were enlightened.
I heard a guy at a bar blame the Vietnam War on the Beatles the other day, and I looked at him and I was like, I gotta go.
That's funny.
I am you and you are me and we are
all
we
together.
are one and we are all together.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, the Beatles studied with a guy I'm reading a little bit about at the minute, Yogi.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how you say it.
Was it Paramahansa Yogananda? No.
No, it's Maharishi. The Maharishi.
Maharishi.
Yeah.
And Hare Krishna. Josh Harrison, I believe, was with Hare Krishna.
John Lennon was a student of Paramahansa Yogananda, and he read the book Autobiography of a Yogi, and he said, I think it says this on the back of some publications of it, some editions of it, something along the lines of, if I hadn't read this book, I would be a terrible person, and I give this book to everybody I know and all of my friends.
That's another book
What? Oh, sorry. I just I actually listened to a self-realization fellowship, which is Yogananda's thing, guided meditation on God called God is Light before I hopped on this conversation. So, all right, Lennon mode deactivated.
Okay, if I may get back to the healing, just have a thought that healing for me is to get better, because to get better enough to feel better, but not necessarily heal completely. But I love when I see the people around that are healing. Helps me also. But for me, it's just to get better in pure consciousness.
Yeah. I think that in a lot of pains or sufferings or some of the hardest places or pain, because there is pain, going to that place of pure consciousness is a starting point sometimes to just acceptance and knowing that the body does heal if you allow it to.
It's like built to do that. It knows intuitively. That's what Esther teaches too, is like that the cells of your body are guided by their own intelligence and their own inner beings to do what they need to do and find their own equilibrium. And actually, for like my favorite Abraham Hicks meditation is the physical well-being meditation, because it's so, I mean, for obvious reasons, because everything for me kind of stems from there, from the roots. And my spiritual awakening, I could feel the cells of my body kind of stirring. I was having some visions of that.
Yeah, I like that meditation too. Yes.
It's a good one.
Well, while you are talking, my cat is dreaming with his eyes open. She's dreaming. She's in the high reels. She's cute.
Who has some water?
There's
some
water.
dripping water.
There's water in this thing over here.
Oh, it's so
loud?
pleasant. No, it's so pleasant.
Oh, good. I like it too. It's calming.
Healing.
Aquarius, right? We need this water. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It fits in. I don't know.
What was never mind. I was going to say something, but I forgot. So.
Okay, so perhaps that's a point to segue into water.
There you go.
So being told about healing, and I was just going to, because I've gone through quite a big healing challenge since I had my contact experience in September.
Right.
It's like my energies went really high, and then I became quite unwell ever since, and I've been struggling to regenerate ever since. But I'm getting to a point now where I'm actually getting healthier, but I've had to work like really hard at this to like sort my body out. It's like something happened to my body in that experience, and it's like I can no longer eat crap anymore. I've had to switch to like a raw vegan organic, not 100%, but 100% vegan. I am now 50% raw, 50% organic, and I'm trying to get it more in that way. And so I feel this is where we're all going as a species towards this type of diet eventually. And so I thought I'd talk a bit about like what I've learned, like, you know, over the past 10 years since I've been exploring this, but particularly over the last 3 months, like having to learn fast to like get my own physical body back in shape. So there's sort of some basic things, some very simple things that I think are important for having a fully physically healthy body. And I just noted them down quickly. So the first one, I think part of it is it's important to like follow our excitement, find our calling as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when we're out of alignment and we're doing things that we don't enjoy doing, we're like putting stress in our body, and like that's the biggest cause of like health issues, in my opinion, like stress. Like so like following our excitement and getting in alignment and doing everything we can to eliminate stress from our lives is super important. Number 2 is detox. Like detoxification is extremely important. Like there's like flushing all the toxins out of the body, like flushing all your toxins. I mean, I'm not going to go into detoxing here. There's loads you can read up online about it, but like find the detox that resonates with you and get all the toxins out of your system. It's like the body really can't heal itself when it's full of toxins. 3.
Well, I think that's a belief. Sorry, I think the statement, the body can't heal itself when it's full of toxins, like, is like, it's true, but also like your body will find ways to show you how to get to expel those toxins eventually.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to put a negative saying on it, saying like you're going to be unhealthy if you don't detox.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true, but like I think these are more just sort of, you know, pointers. If you're going through health challenges and you're looking and you're like really struggling to get back to full health,
Right.
and you want to explore like avenues other than, you know, medication, which ultimately tend to put more toxins back in your body. So this is a great path. So detoxification is great, and once the body's fully detoxified, then you can start putting proper nutrition in it, and because it can't absorb the proper nutrition when it's full of toxins. This is what Bashar says, and Bashar's like top on like beliefs create reality.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of this from Bashar, and I've lived it and experienced it, and it certainly all works, in my opinion, in my experience. So Bashar says that when the toxins are in your body, they actually block like the cells or something. They block the nutrients from getting to where they need to in the body ultimately. So the first step, the second step is to detox. And third step, hydrate, drink plenty of good water, like tap water in a lot of areas can be very dodgy. The best way is either to get a water filter or a distiller.
Well, what I do is I just ordered a chunk of activated charcoal off Amazon, and I keep it in my glass water bottle and just bring that everywhere. And it's honestly a conversation piece too, because I'm thirsty. I got to drink water, but almost all the water in America is fluoridated or chlorinated. So, you know, I'll be at a restaurant and hand them my water bottle and say, could you please refill this? And I've had mixed reactions. Like one woman was like, what is this? And I said, it's activated charcoal. And she goes, well, that just activated me. And I was like, probably. And then this guy sitting nearby goes like, actually, I don't believe in that. And I was like, okay, fuck off. I didn't ask for your opinion. And I said, I was like, listen, I was at my close friend's house for a month, and in their water pitcher, I did the same thing. I saw this piece of activated charcoal in their glass pitcher, and I was like, you guys know there's like a turd in your pitcher. And then they were like, oh, no, that's activated charcoal. Like, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I drank the water and I got used to it, and it tastes so much sweeter. It tastes so much better. And after that, I was like, I won't drink any other water. So what I did was I just explained my experience and what it tasted like to my body. And that's what I said to the waitress too. This wasn't a waitress. This is actually a bartender, but I don't want anyone to get any, like I don't really drink because my mom was an alcoholic. So I don't really try and hang around bars, but that's not the point. So, but this was when I was on vacation in LA. And so this guy at the bar is like, yeah, oh, like that's nice if you're in like the forest, but like, mansplain. And I was just like, oh, this is what else he said. He was like, actually the water in LA is like really good. And I was like, hell fucking no, it tastes like chlorine. Do you not taste that chlorine? And I just walked away because I was like, I'm not having this. And then I heard the waitress like turn to him and was like, you know, she's right. That tastes horrible. Rant over. Back to you.
Wait, one question. So can you put this activated charcoal in any water and transfer it from waters to water and it works for a while?
Yeah, it comes with instructions. I'll find out the name of the brand for you. So it's basically what I found is like, I hate reading directions. I never read directions. I learn from using things. So I found that I put it in my water bottle or a pitcher or whatever and fill it up with the tap water and then give it about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then the water tastes amazing. I also want to give mention that in LA, I befriended somebody named Flower who runs something called Hana's Healing House. And it's just relevant because we're talking about healings, but yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I've not heard of this activated charcoal myself, but I'm going to look into it. So
yeah.
Oh, you guys have never heard of activated charcoal? That honestly really surprises me because you guys
not
are
in water like that. Yeah, I've heard of people using it in deodorants and teeth brushing, but not in drinking water.
Somebody at my hostel was saying, and I don't know if this is true, but it makes a lot of sense. He was saying that when people drink too much and they have to go get their stomach pumped in the hospitals, they use activated charcoal to detox.
That's true.
Okay,
I do know that. Yeah, that's true. Or if they poison it from anything, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, and this goes back to one of my themes that I've been working with is I'm literally detoxing from prescription drugs right now. Drugs that were prescribed to me and that I used as directed.
Right.
I was not abusing those. And I had a chemical dependency that I did not sign up for consciously. I know like higher self was like, yeah, okay, but that's, that's not the point. Like in a germane sense, that's big pharma. That is the aspect, and Cryan says that big pharma is about to collapse in on its own corruption. It's about to fall, but that not all of pharma is going to collapse. Only the greedy part, the Martin Shkrelkys of the world, which,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a part of my own healing path. I decided to stop taking pharmaceutical medicine, and I'm not saying it's like all bad. Of course, it's
right.
Some of it is, very helpful to people in certain circumstances. But the problem is, it's all synthesized from chemicals, or the majority of it, and it actually puts toxins into your system. So when you're trying to heal, you're actually putting toxins in your system.
I don't think the issue is that it's synthesized from toxins. I think the issue is that they're branded and commodified. So let me tell you about birth control. Your body manufactures its own progestin. I'm not clear on the difference. And that is a hormone that tells your body, it tells your body something. I don't know. And I think I've read that it's soothing. But because of pharmaceutical companies, something, they alter one branch of the molecule so that they can trademark it, and that is, it works, but it's not a perfect fit with your body. And we all know that changing one branch on a molecule is the difference between, that can have a vast difference on the way a chemical affects your body or operates. And I'm not a chemist, but I don't know, maybe Bonnie, you might know more about this.
I don't know. I know that I know that if it's not natural, the body, it will produce its own chemicals to calm itself, to get itself, it'll produce everything it needs. And so all this stuff we've added in over years and years, and changing the chemicals and even all these antibiotics, bodies have had to morph, and they've morphed the things. So now they can't treat these infections. These people are in here for infections. They're not treatable anymore because they've morphed things so much, and the body doesn't know how to, and it's gotten too big. And so it's not good. All this unnatural stuff they've done is with all the drugs, really.
Okay, I hate
Yeah.
I don't
not being
hate
good for
the
body.
medical community, doctors, the scientific community who needs this message most. They are repulsed by the term unnatural and natural, because honestly, all things are natural. All of this that is unfolding and happening is natural. But the thing that's not natural, the thing, what am I trying to say? Homeopathy, there is, you know, there's foul play in that too, and the doctors see that and the way that it's affecting their patients. And my dad is a medical doctor. He's an allergist, and his dad was an allergist too, and he was the president of the Allergist Association of America. Like, I am from a pharmaceutical family, and my dad hates chiropractors more than anyone. But actually, you know who he hates more than chiropractors? Drug reps, the advertisers, the people who go around saying, you should prescribe more of these drugs so that we can sell more of these drugs.
Yeah, so I think getting back, so what we're covering is, like, I guess, the natural healing method. I heard one healer say that, you know, modern medicine is great as a first resort and a last resort. You know, in an emergency situation, you know, he made a comment: if I'm in a road accident and, you know, I've lost my legs, I'm in the middle of the road, I don't
Right.
want someone stood there doing Reiki on me. So
That's right. You need to go to the doctor, the emergency room at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're great
First
at that
resort.
sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
And he said it's great. It's a first resort and a last resort. You know, if nothing else has worked, you know, try these things. But there's so many ways we can heal ourselves more naturally that are much more in harmony with the body and like you know, energize and enlighten us. So yeah. So getting back to where I was, yeah, the other options for water are
water.
to buy like a decent water filter, like one of the more expensive ones they recommend generally, or a distiller. You get these distillers which are really good as well, or just buy bottled water, which is generally better, but I don't think it's brilliant being in the plastic. But so filters and distillers are probably the best, and maybe look into this activated charcoal. So and also
can I say something about water? I had my third eye awakening, like really my pineal opened when I was living in Thailand, and like, so Thailand does not have potable water, so I was drinking exclusively bottled water for 6 months straight. And you know, I wasn't consciously like, this is gonna help me access my DMT and, you know, like psychic abilities. It was just like, I gotta drink water and I don't want dysentery. And then all of a sudden I was like seeing like the Merkaba and like pyramids, like having these visions, and I was like, you know. So anyway, water. Countries with non-potable water might actually have an advantage in that sense.
Yeah, I wondered about that because a lot of people say like drinking tap water, particularly with fluoride in, like calcifies the pineal gland and like shuts down our third eye and our psychic abilities. And I've drunk bottled water since when I was at university, when I was around 19 or 20 years old.
I thought you were saying year 1920.
He's in another life.
I'm like Corey Good. I've been age regressed. Like I've done 10 sessions of Secret Space.
Wow. Yeah, show us that fountain of youth, Jonathan. I mean, Xenoplex.
Oh my God, Jonathan, it shows that I had a past life in 1930, so maybe you were alive. Oh my God, we never know.
No, so yes, so I worked in a hotel when I was at university. I'm 42 now, and this is when I was around 19 or 20 years old. And they always had like this expensive bottled water in the fridge, like everywhere, like in all the kitchens and everywhere. So I just started drinking that, and I got really hooked on this expensive sparkling it was like Malvern Springs, like sparkling mineral water. It's like really expensive and it's like really nice. And so I started drinking that when I was at work all the time. And after that, I like really went off tap water, because compared to drinking, I like got hooked on this sparkling water. So sparkling water isn't the best. Apparently the fizziness isn't great for you. But so I started drinking sparkling water all the time. Like when I was not working at the hotel, I'd just get sparkling water from the, and for years I got hooked on sparkling water, and I'd just drink sparkling water until someone told me that sparkling water wasn't that good for you because of all the carbonated.
I mean, what matters is your belief. If you were drinking that and you were happy and you didn't believe that it was harming you.
It was harming me a lot less than everything else I was doing when I was at university. I mean, McDonald's and beer, and I lived at McDonald's and alcohol when I was
good. So. It was good for you.
University of Minnesota here. Yes. Yes, I like purposely wanted to represent them today. Thank you for teaching me how to shotgun a beer so that I could shotgun my activated charcoal water before I went through airport security because I forgot to empty it.
Yeah, and I did wonder if that was the reason, because I have drunk bottled water for 20 years. Why perhaps I'm more psychic than most people.
Well, and then, but the flip side of that is that you're drinking out of plastic, and I don't know if like BPAs, and I don't think that plastic is the devil per se, but I think glass intuitively feels better.
I'd rather not use the plastic. I agree totally, but I think it's better than the tap water around here is awful. In
England, it is.
Yeah, where I live particularly, it just doesn't. It's got better recently actually, but it used to taste awful. Literally, after drinking, but I couldn't drink it. I still can't.
That's what happens. It's like, honestly, I will gag if I drink.
Yeah.
Minnesota tap water, I can stomach because it's very clean and it's known for being clean. But when I was in LA, I was like, I would take a swig and have to spit it out.
Yeah, and also I've heard this is a tip from the Yahyel actually that Bashar gave from the Yahyel before I started channeling them to like Reiki your water. You know, hold your water and like put like loving energy into it, because when you get it from the bottle, it's got all the frequencies and the vibrations of the bottling plant
and the corporation that is greedy, that wants you to drink it. And also this is another vote in favor of glass bottles, is that you can clink it, you know, you can it's like a singing bowl almost, like you can get the vibrations through it, and plastic
purify it more easily because of the frequencies. So I don't
making
do
a toast
that.
at a wedding. Ding 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 ding.
I'm going to start doing it more. Like you see some people. I remember when I was in Glastonbury, I used to see it all the time in Glastonbury, like eating at the vegan restaurant. Like everyone like reikis their food before they eat it. They all bless their food and bless their water.
Fucking weirdos.
I want to try it.
Me too.
I used to do that. My parents were really like, we prayed over our food, you know, you bless the food. But see, now that I'm kind of doing my own path, I just eat my food. But I stopped, even though, I'm going to start doing it in my own Reiki fashion with my food and my drinks.
I think it's probably really good though, because I'm going to do a little Qi exercise in a bit, because I've learned so much about Qi energy and how like keeping our Qi pure is so important.
Yes.
Because I shared it with you, didn't I, Isabel? That Qigong, that simple Qigong workout, doing the morning.
Beginner one, the first one that pops up on YouTube.
Don't you find
that saved my life.
Now, where can I find this, Jonathan? Because I don't think I found it.
I'll put a link on my website with the other stuff, and I'll put it in the Facebook group as well. But it gets lost in the Facebook group, so that's why I'm going to do it on the website. So I'll just write down this. So it's the Qi.
Yeah, you were talking about that before, and I thought that sounded really amazing.
Yes, me too. I do believe that we can purify our water and food with the spirit energy, unless it's poison. But we do.
No,
But
even if it is
also
poison, even if
Even
it
if
is
it's poison, there was that story about what
call
Buddhist monk, and
911.
I don't know if it was a tale, but he drank Coke and a chocolate bar. I don't know, for months and months on end. That was it. That was his entire diet. But his frequency and vibration was so high that it was not effective.
Yeah, it can help.
You can override the greed of the Coca-Cola Corporation just by your intention and beliefs.
Just by your frequency, yes, and your beliefs, yes, I absolutely.
Well, so I've got a question. Do we have to be totally vegan? Because
No.
I try. I love animals, and I don't eat red beef at all, red meat, no pork. But I still eat a little bit of fish and sometimes chicken, and I think of the chicken. But I know that even Bashar did a video once by Jonathan where he said that, well,
Someone's vibrating.
yeah, it's not worse to eat meat than to be vegan and vice versa. But I try, guys, to be totally vegan. I would say
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Danny, because I'm glad you brought that up because I think it's like we've got to take it in our own. You know, I tried going vegan, like from being a heavy meat eater, like years ago. Like just going, I started.
Bangers and mash.
Yeah, I started eating like beans, like every day, like all these bean stews and stuff, and it was just like gruesome. Like my stomach just didn't agree with it at all. And it's like we've got to like take it bit by bit. And yeah, I certainly wouldn't ever recommend that everyone goes raw, vegan, organic overnight. Your like body's just going to reject it. Probably you've got to take this steady. It's like I've been moving.
I mean, you can, but it's like the difference between the toad. You know, the experiment with the toad where they turn up the volume slowly, but like I kind of detoxed all at once, and I was figuratively violently very ill and sick to my stomach for 2 weeks straight. And I was like, I would rather just get this done than try and taper off and you know, with a pharmaceutical system that doesn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, but it's perhaps different for you, you know, being a young, healthy woman than it is,
right?
You know, if you're in your 70s and you're in poor health or something, you know, it's if someone was like 70 years old and in poor health, you know, it might be the end of them.
I am humble enough to think it's rather a question of culture. I still need to be able to do a proper vegan cooking. So I know some of the quinoa. You know, I can cook a little bit vegan, but I still have to learn. So one day I will be totally vegan, but I cannot swear on God that I am now. I'm trying and trying.
There is no try.
Yeah. What I'd recommend for everyone as a step in the right direction, I think it's, you know, fairly safe for everyone to do this, is to try and make 50% of your diet, half your diet, raw, vegan, organic, live foods. This is something I was watching a video on the other day, the importance of live foods. Like, and when we cook food, according in Hinduism, they have they categorize food into 3 categories: sattvic, from yoga traditions, sattvic food, tamasic food, and rajasic food. And sattvic foods are foods that are very pure and are good for generating a still mind, a silent mind. Rajasic foods are foods that agitate the mind and make you have a noisy mind.
Rajasic?
Yeah, rajasic. sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. And tamasic foods are foods that are like really bad and make you feel really heavy and dense and lethargic and tired. And so,
but that could also be grounding, you know, like
there can be a place for that, definitely. If they can be grounding. If you're finding getting really ungrounded just eating raw food, it can be good to eat some of these denser foods, definitely. But and like tamasic foods are like generally like meat and like, and one thing they say that makes food tamasic is you shouldn't eat any food that's been cooked more than 3 hours ago, no more than 5 hours. Like food, you know, if you cook a meal and put it in the fridge, you shouldn't eat food that's left over from the next day, you know, that's cooked one day. You know,
that just sounds like a belief to me.
Well, it is a belief, but it's, you know, a part of our collective, and I do notice it myself a lot, but personally, recently,
so detach from the collective. I know that's easier said than done.
Yeah, but that's one option, but it's much easier just to only eat freshly cooked food.
I mean, not really, not for a lot of people who don't have the money to do that and want to detox and are in this catch-22 of the poverty and not being able to afford the produce and all this. Like, I don't think that message of don't eat leftovers would serve people in poverty. But I understand and I appreciate what you're saying too, in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Well, I was just, you know, the book we were looking at, The Essene Way, that I started reading it. Well, I just opened up.
The Essene Way? Oh, that's Jesus.
It was saying the 10 basic essentials of a perfect diet, right? And it's saying a lot of what you're saying. Eliminate from your diet any fruit from which vital nutrients have been removed, such as white flour, white sugar, and all those foods in which these devitalized substances are hidden in disguised form, as they are all bioacidic. Artificial processing, factorizing in a word. So processing, that's 2. 3, excessive commercial storage, such as canning, preserving, freezing, artificial ripening, etc., causes depletion or a complete destruction of vitamins, enzymes. Number 4, artificial synthetic additives, such as chemical preservatives, antioxidants, humectants, emulsifiers, colorings, etc., dangerous and may even be carcinogenic. So then it says 5, artificial substitutes of natural foods are not only biostatic, but may be bioacidic. Long storage in the home will also seriously deplete nutritive value of foods. 7, it says always choose fresh, raw fruits and vegetables and avoid canned or prepared foods. I mean, this is just another idea, but it says number 8, your diet shall contain fresh, organic fruits and vegetables, whole grains, seeds, beans, nuts, yogurt. This is even saying yogurt. This is saying you can have, but this is another just idea, right? But this is the Essene Day, a biogenic living. So I mean, there's some interesting. It says the 2 most important factors in the diet should consist of 1, embryonic vegetables, substances or biogenic foods, and 2, fresh, unprocessed, whole bionutrients or bioactive foods.
Can I jump in there? The Essenes, those are the Dead Sea Scrolls. Like, you don't know, you might already know that. And I forgot to say this earlier, not to take away from this the diet topic right now, but cycling back to water. My website is Many Waters Media, and it's taken from the Song of Solomon, Shir Hashirim, which is many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. Back to the topic of food.
Okay, but anyway, I just thought that was interesting. This is tying into what you're talking about.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'm going to read it.
Oh, it was just tying into his what Jonathan was talking about when we'd started with the book. So I thought it was interesting that he was talking about the vegetables, kind of how they say raw, natural. Not that but everybody's body's different. Also.
But I promise you guys, I promise myself in less than 1 year, I'm going to be totally vegan because I'm
me too. I'm not quite there.
I'm going to cut chicken.
I'm close. But and I go through stages too, where I'll go up and down. I'll go through Yeah. So
Yes.
and I've been to a retreat where it was so high energy and so cool that I went and ate this greasy food just to ground myself. You know, we wouldn't have a burger. I don't ever eat burger, but I needed like something. So
Sometimes you
listen
need
to your own
burger.
body.
Well, this is something my dad always talked to me about with burgers in particular, is never to eat an undercooked burger because, well, with a steak, you know that the whole inside is safe if the outside is completely cooked. But with burgers, since it's ground up, I don't remember the science behind it, but since it's ground up, it's really not as safe for, like, you know, diseases like mad cow. Like, if it's tainted with that, and you don't cook it all the way through, most people, their belief systems are, and you know, most of the time it's fine to eat a raw burger, but also my dad said another thing about why he preferred burgers once he became a doctor is because he'd gone through so many anatomy lessons that he liked burgers more, and ground meat, ground beef, meatloaf, because he couldn't recognize any anatomical features in it anymore. And that speaks to his sensitivity and like compassion for animals, honestly.
Yeah, so to get back to what Bonnie was saying, like that, what I was saying. So basically, the idea is that raw, like vegan, organic foods, they're still alive. We should eat as many live foods as we can. Basically, a live food is like something like a vegetable or a fruit or a seed or a nut that if you plant it in the ground, it'll start growing again.
It still has life force, chi. It's still channeling. Yeah.
It's full of chi energy, and so
the force.
The force. And this is why it's so important for us. And this is what I've come to notice, like very recently, just experimenting this with myself. It energizes us and vitalizes us with life force. So we shouldn't eat so this is when you have like cooked food loses its chi like about 3 hours after you cook it. And particularly, and like any
stop ruining leftovers for me.
and leftovers are all right, but not if they're cooked. You know, you can have, if it's salads, you know, it'll still hold its chi. But notice it.
Leftovers.
Try it.
I'm gonna eat those.
Like make yourself a nice healthy meal out of lots of organic vegetables and fruit or whatever, and like cook it and eat it straight away, and then leave it in the fridge till the next day, and then eat it. And notice how you feel after each meal, and let's see if you can notice the difference. I noticed.
Okay, Jonathan, you're right again.
I like it. Yes, your body will tell you.
Let's talk about another wild card: microwaves. What is the deal?
I don't know. I've always avoided them because there's stuff out there that says they're not good for you. So I just don't see the need to use them. I haven't used one I've never used one once or twice in the last few years.
Oh, excuse me.
There are still bad energies in the conventional oven too. So I don't see.
The Bashar gives information about microwaves that my boyfriend told me about, honestly, and I was skeptical, honestly, because that's my conditioning, is to be a skeptic. And what he said, that Bashar said about microwaves, is that, well, what he did, he pointed at the microwave and he said that's the cause of cancer, and I was like, that is a very general statement. Enlighten me, please. And he was like, basically, the way I understood what he said to me was that it the microwaves kind of like destroy the DNA of the organic particles of your food, and your body just doesn't, from my understanding, might not know how to digest that or what to do with it or where to put it.
But the oven too. So to my idea, it's better to eat raw salads, and that's why I try to do more.
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think that toaster ovens are awesome, and I think that there is a time and place
but I
for
mean
cooked
a real
food.
oven that mine is broken anyway, so I eat a lot of salads. But you know, I have to use the microwave, but just once in a while.
Right, yeah, that's the thing, is a lot of people are dependent on microwaves.
Yeah, once in a while it's fine. I think, you know, but I don't think it'd be a good idea to have microwave, because I'm sure the microwaves like kill off the chi. I would guess they kill off the light.
Oh yeah, that feels like, that just feels like it's what's happening.
Yes, so if you think like in cooked foods, like they lose their life force energy after 3 or 4 hours, you know, think how much life force there is like in packaged foods, you know, that were cooked like 10 months ago, and like
oh god.
so like,
yeah,
you know,
it's honestly horrifying.
Yeah, so like eating like packaged and tinned and, you know, even frozen foods are probably well, definitely packaged foods. Just generally try and avoid them. Just try and have like, you know, as much raw vegan organic as you can, or like cook it and then eat it straight after you cooked it. And yeah, and of course don't eat anything with additives in and those sort of things.
I've got a friend, a very good friend, who grew up in Malaysia, and he just opened up his own restaurant, and he loves MSG, and he has crystal MSG like at his house, and he brought it to me and was like, Izzy, try this, like, and I was like, all right, and I ate some, and then I immediately felt, well, like, but like, his belief system around it is so cleaned up that it doesn't really affect him. And I have another friend in the food industry who is a line cook, and I was like, Mike, is there really anything wrong with MSG? And he was like, well, I don't know, but it's honestly in almost all restaurant food.
Really?
I don't know if that's true. That's just what my friend Mike said.
That's sad, but that's true.
I know it's in a lot of stuff, a lot of like our takeaway Chinese restaurants and stuff over here. I know it's in a lot of that. And it does taste good. It makes food taste good. You can't
tastes fucking good.
But I don't think it's good for us.
But we can make ourselves the Asiatic food.
Yeah, anyway, so moving swiftly on, because time's getting on. So just quickly, another thing I'd like to say is the importance of oxygenating our system. Like we need, I think Bashar recommended like 30 minutes a day of deep breathing outside in nature. Yeah.
Do we have to really do that for 30 minutes?
Well, you don't have to, but I incorporate it into my yoga exercises or my Qigong. You know, I do the deep breathing while I'm doing Qigong or yoga, and just as much deep breathing out in clean air in nature as much as possible. I think it's really important, like plenty of oxygenation to the system.
What does deep breathing mean to you? Oh, so like a pregnant lady about to give birth?
No, I'm glad you asked that, actually, because breathing through the nose, in yoga, they say we absorb chi through our nose.
Kundalini, yeah.
So when I'm breathing in, I always breathe in through the nose. And yeah, I actually have to do this now. Since this contact experience, I have to do it at least twice a day. Otherwise, my body starts to become depleted.
It's awesome.
Contact experience. That's just a whammy of a download.
Let's say I'm in Montreal at minus 30 Celsius. That means, I think you are in Celsius, guys, or in Fahrenheit. That means below 0 degree. We cannot do it often those days. But when it's, I love to be on the balcony when it's nice. But the bathing, we do it wherever we are, even in the bus.
Yeah, breathe deeply, even if you're inside, you know, it's better to do some deep breathing.
Did I tell you guys about when I was in the psych ward? Because when I quit taking my meds, I started having visions and hearing voices. And the only time I heard voices actually was when I was in a more polarized state of fear than joy. And so I scared the shit out of everybody around me. And when I was there, I was like, I need to ground this motherfucking energy download that is helping Mother Earth Gaia, and you're gonna make me breathe this canned air for a week until my dad, I am 25 years old, I am an adult with agency, until they were gonna let me out until my father personally came and picked me up. I was there on a police order. And that is why I wasn't voluntarily allowed, I wasn't allowed to leave of my own volition. So, and then I learned that all I could do to ground was breathe consciously. So yeah, breathing is so important.
I think breathing into the root chakra is good as well. I found this. Focus on your root chakra and keep breathing into your root chakra to help ground. Yes, so that takes us on to the next step, like chi, life force energy. Like a couple of practices I've been doing is yoga and Qigong, and I found yin yoga recently, which is really meditative and really amazing. So I'll put some links to some of these Qigong and yin yoga. And these are really excellent practices for balance, for not only generating a lot of chi energy and balancing and cleansing the negative energies away, and bringing in positive chi energy and rebalancing our system. It's really amazing, particularly the Qigong for beginners. Just doing that, I'm sure you'll notice straight away, like the differences, like how you feel. And so it's really important to do these exercises, because when we wake up in the morning, we tend to, if you're anything like me, you probably wake up feeling not great a lot of the time.
Oh, my heart. You deserve to wake up feeling great.
Sometimes I do, but but generally, I ever since this contact experience, I get depleted and lethargic, like and I have to keep doing like yoga and qigong and deep breathing and eating
like obsessively. Me too.
Yeah.
Have you? So you reminds me of, because I was pretty depleted after my first Kundalini experience, but it sounds like this guy. So I got this book in 2008, and the guy in this had a really like.
Wait, can you show us the cover again?
Sounded that he was very depleted for a long period of time, like kind of how you explained. So it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I'll write that book down. Hold it there.
Yes, I shall hold it here.
And he talks about regenerating his energy after this depletion from a Kundalini awakening.
Yes, he had a lot of rest. You know, he spent years and years trying to have this Kundalini awakening, and then he finally did, and it just floored him. And this was written in like 1920, or this from 1920, or this guy had this happen in the 20s or 30s, or 37. So it's been a long while, like somebody who experienced this long before, you know, we did, at least in this life.
Yeah, because that's actually what I believe has happened. Because this experience I had the same contact experience 9 years ago, and I believe I had a Kundalini awakening in that contact experience. I believe the ET contact somehow triggered a Kundalini awakening in me like 9 years ago. And
Bashar says something about what happens if you have a contact experience. They said that if you were to meet one of them, that all of your fear beliefs would raise to the surface, essentially.
Yeah, that happened as well.
Yes. Yes, that happened to
Bless
me in
you.
2008.
Wait, Bonnie, you had a contact experience too?
Well, it was a I don't know what it was. It was I had no education of any of this or anything except for my own little small ball religion. But I had I knew there was more to it, and I had a Kundalini awakening. Well, I called it that later, but I was seeing people in the moon, and there was people.
Yeah,
there was Egyptians on the wall.
too.
You see the shadows walking with their little loincloth. They were on the walls. I mean, I was just. They put me in a mental hospital too. But anyways, there was all kinds of stuff happening. And yeah. So that was in 2008 though, and it went on for 3 months real strong to where it faded out. But I would see big head on my bathroom wall, and I'd hear voices. It wasn't like, oh, I met an alien. It didn't feel like that then. But it was something beyond what was going on here.
Well, Bonnie, it wouldn't surprise me if you did have some sort of contact experience that you haven't remembered yet, or like, because actually I just a few days ago remembered some kind of contact experience I had with the Bashar when I was in Israel, and I still don't remember it. All I know is that something happened. There was a time warp, and all of a sudden I was Googling teach English abroad, which is the thing that brought me to Thailand. And I know with certainty that was not my idea.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't remember all of it either, because it's so gargled and so jumbled.
Yeah, like humanity.
Yeah, I did actually wonder the same, Bonnie, because you're into the Bashar stuff and the ET stuff, and you're talking to me, and
yes.
and we're all into this, and I'm not that everyone that has a Kundalini awakening experience is because of ET contact,
right?
But because when it happened to me 9 years ago, I suspected I'd had a contact experience, but I didn't remember anything. There was a period where I got really high, and then I freaked out, and I wondered if something happened in between experience.
Oh shit, that happened to me too.
Yes.
I got so high one time that I went to my friends and I was like, guys, there's a problem with this space-time reality continuum. Take me in the hospital. I'm having a psychotic break. And they were like, you should never do psychedelic drugs again, dude.
Yeah.
But I do. I smoke totally now, and it's great.
And me, I have been told by my channeler, I think yesterday, that I would be tempted to do a ET contact soon, but there are three groups of ETs that would be willing to bring me. Yeah, but I would have to be careful and really choose well which one. Otherwise, I could be very afraid. I would just come back in my bed or something like that.
Who are the three groups?
Yeah. The channeler didn't tell me, but I have a good guess.
I'm going to tell you one now. The Zeta Reticuli, I know with certainty beyond knowing. I don't, it's just my internal knowing that is who I was hybridized with. Because all day yesterday I kept getting Zeta, Alpha, Alpha. And I was like, I want to be the alpha wolf of my own life. Because I've been dealing with this inner dominatrix, and all I kept getting was Alpha, Beta, Zeta, Xena. Remember when you were a little kid and you wanted to change your name to Xena? And I was like, leave me alone. But also, what? Oh, hi, Zeta Reticuli. Yeah. Anyway, someone else talk.
Yeah, hi, Darnell. Welcome to the call, by the way.
Hi, Darnell.
It's nice to be here.
Hi.
There he is.
I'm just listening to the conversation.
We see you.
Well, welcome, and feel free to chime in if you can get in a word in edgeways over all our slots.
Over
Okay,
me.
no problem.
Yeah. So what? Yeah. So the last point I'd like to make on the healing thing, which has been really important for me as I've been going through this process, of regenerating my body since this experience in September. It finally seems to be getting me back to like a balanced state, because my nervous system has been like crazy.
Oh my God, the anxiety. Yeah.
I went through the anxiety just prior to it, actually. In September, I was getting very anxious a few days before and around it, but that seems to have gone a lot for me, actually. But I still get anxiety, but not crazy
Teach me,
anxiety.
please teach me your ways about the anxiety, bro.
Yeah, well, what did I think? I don't know. It's like, I guess it's just a process. It's the anxiety seems to be a part of this spiritual process. Unfortunately, it's like as
Can we not?
Yeah, as our frequency goes higher, and we start to like feel into like our oneness and our higher consciousness, our mind goes, help, I'm scared, I'm dying, I'm freaking out, I don't want,
Oh my God, I told everyone I was dying. Continue.
Yeah, because it is, in a sense, it's the mind dying, it's the ego dying.
It is the ego death and the death of old belief systems that aren't serving you.
And when we're fully identified with those beliefs and perspectives, it can literally feel like we're dying. I mean, I think most of us, like, that have been deeply on this path, have gone through experiences where you just lying on the floor feeling like you're dying, and it's like
months on end. Yes, I wasn't working, I was living at my dad's house, just writhing and languishing, wishing I were dead, and coming 99% close to a suicide attempt and then stopping at the last minute. Or like maybe there's some reality where I actually did follow through with it, but I was like pooped back out, and they're like, haha, you can't get away from your spiritual mission that fast, lady.
Possibly.
It's also the adrenals. That's root chakra, which you were talking about, which I looked into that more, and it's kidneys. Your kidneys have these little like cone caps on top of them that are the some kind of adrenal gland, and that is what gets really like shot if you are bullied or abused as a child, or have any kind of PTSD. That's the fight or flight. That's what that's
probably what was happening with me after the contact experience, because I don't fully remember it, but I sense what sort of happened to me. I sort of remember. I don't remember this because it was just missing time at first. It was just me.
And
the next thing I knew. And then I remembered it in meditation. But I don't remember this. But I sort of sense what happened was that I'm stood there and I literally got absorbed into the ship. It's not like they landed and a portal came down and I walked up the stairs. It's like the ship was above me and I'm suddenly going, whoa! And somehow
you're a vibrational match to it.
Yeah. Like I got like absorbed into the ship, and I can sort of feel it. And I think that's why I like keep I'm on the verge of like, because I've been getting quite OCD about stuff. Like, oh my God, my reality's collapsing. My reality's collapsing.
Reality's on fire. I said that to my friends the first time I ever got high. You guys, reality is on fire. But it was my hellfire of false beliefs. But that's not the point I was going to make. Jonathan, you described exactly what I remembered yesterday, which is basically it felt like this string was like actually like poking down into third dimensional reality, and it was like beep, 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 registered on the Bashar's radar or something, and then it was like hello.
Yeah.
You've been living in this. Well, I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but oh my God, I have to share this with you. So at the time I had a fromagerie cheese shop lover who worked at a cheese shop called, wait for it, Boscher.
Hey.
Nice.
I am unable to cope with this.
Yeah, and this is why the anxiety, and it is so scary, this spiritual path, because like in a way, this experience of like me being disintegrated and like remanifesting in the ship is the spiritual experience, because our identity with our beliefs and our old ideas, you know, that we've got a, you know, because we've got all these beliefs, you know, that we can, you know, I'll be safe if I, like, you know, get a job and pay my bill and work every day and, you know, do the right thing and check the mail and my email box and listen to the phone and make sure I don't do anything wrong. And we delude ourselves into believing that we can keep our reality all in place, you know, by doing all these things.
It's another Beatles song that's, what's the one that's like, I read the news today, oh boy, the English army had just won the war. And then he's like, woke up, got out of bed, pulled a comb across my head, and he's like running to work and he's late, and then he like falls out of the dimensional reality and like once goes into a dream and it just gets totally fucking psychedelic and like what the fuck, Beatles? But anyway.
Yeah. And this is why psychedelics can help with the spiritual process. You know,
right.
Some teachers such as like Terence McKenna, you know, we're so up on like using psychedelics to like wake us up, but I don't recommend it because it's very dangerous, because it especially if you know, it can like mess us up, especially if we've got, you know, mental instability.
We don't need that.
We certainly don't need them at all.
No, we don't.
But, right. But they're a tool that's available to us, and the consciousness of mushrooms and the consciousness of cannabis in particular are very interested in the human experience, and they're sort of first contact specialists, and they're like sniffing it out. What's going on with you guys?
Because like we have this story, you know, that I'm this human, and if I get a job and pay my bills, like one day I'll be happy, and one day everything will be all right, and I'll be happy and I'll be free. But when you start to waken up spiritually, you start to see this is all nonsense, that you never, all these things are never ever going to get you to that space. There's never going to be that space where you're safe and happy and perfect and you've got all the money you need. And
well, yeah, there is going to be that space, but it's not, this is an Esther thing. Like, it's not going to come all at once. It's not going to come all at once. There are always going to be, you know, you're always reaching for something. This is, I think, a Bashar Conversations with God. The creator cannot be standing in its full glory without naturally creating more. So you can be content without discomfort, but you still have more coming for you. But it's not, oh darn it, I guess I'm going to be sad and unsatisfied for all eternity.
Yeah, I mean, you can get that stuff, you can achieve that stuff,
yes.
but it's not going to get you to a space, you know, when you're in a
you have to have the space first, is what
being a liver of unconditioned.
You don't do this, this, and this for happiness. You be happy now, and then everything that you need will be there for you. But you're in that vibrational alignment with your higher self.
And people do not want to hear that. Anxious
people
don't
want to hear it, but we still know.
Right, like we know, we get it. But it's like, I remember when I was really in the thick of my anxiety and people were like, oh, just be happy. And I was like,
you're right.
Off.
It's hard to, it's not hard. There's people that don't want to hear it or not ready to hear it, but we can still speak our truth. And if any of it resonates in them, then maybe they'll get something from it and someday look into it.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just really tired of, so I experienced a lot of bullying when I was younger. So I'm very much like, don't rock the boat. That's one of my like very deeply conditioned things that I'm working through right now.
and that's what I'm like. You know, I get this OCD that I talked about because I'm like trying to control everything. You know what I mean? My small me, my ego wants everything to be safe. So it's like, you know, making sure like I've still got my car keys and my phone, and making sure all the bills are paid, and making sure stove's turned off. And it's like my mind thinks that if you can keep everything under control, then I'll be safe and nothing can harm me. But like to use the term, like, you can be in this illusion, like, and then you can do some like LSD or some mushrooms or something, and all of a sudden you're like, you know, your entire reality is destroyed, and you're like in another dimension, and you're like a butterfly flying through another dimension, and like everything has been completely destroyed. You know, like 20 years of your life, you're trying to get your life like safe and secure, and then you have these mushrooms, and all of a sudden you're a butterfly flying through another dimension.
A China doll in the bullpen. One of my favorite song lyrics.
Yeah, and your like entire reality has been destroyed in an instant, and this is sort of basically the awakening experience, is your entire reality being, because the illusion falls away. You know, the illusion to be safe, because it's not. You can never be safe, even if you've got all the money in the world. You know, you can be hit by a freak bolt of lightning.
That's not true. You're always safe. You're always protected.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate realization. But the mind's the mind's safety is a lie. The mind thinks it keeps itself safe by having the money and paying the bills and building a house, and the illusion of safety. But what happens?
The Arcturian Council, channeled by Daniel Scranton, on the eve of my root chakra reopening, finally delivered a transmission saying, guys, we finally figured it out. Your root chakra is the only thing that needs convincing now. You've had to do too much to survive for too long in the last 25,000 years cycle of limitation.
And it's like we're exhausted. What you're talking about. Yeah, it's like we're exhausted because we're in this fight or flight mode, controlled by the root chakra, trying to survive through getting enough money and keeping ourselves safe, and it's totally exhausting. And then what happens is eventually we surrender to it, and we go, okay, I'm safe. I give up. Just eat me up, destroy me, world. I surrender to you.
Oh, I did exactly that. Oh, yep. Keep going.
And then we pop out the other side of it, and we realize we're infinite consciousness, and we're eternally safe, and nothing can ever touch us. And it was all a big joke.
Yeah, a sick joke.
Well, exciting joke. It was a good game to play, though, wasn't it?
We must have thought it was a good idea.
What?
We must have thought it was a good idea for something, or we wouldn't have.
What were you
put
thinking?
Ourselves through it.
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate experience, though, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel too.
Yeah. When I was in the thick of it, I called my mom in like the thick of it, and I was drawing runes that were saying, this is the winter of your spiritual life is upon you. And I was like, oh no. And like, I called my mom, and I was like, everything in my life is the same. Like, I have this, that, it's all the same, but something isn't right. This all feels like a sick joke. What is going on? And now I realize it's not a sick joke. It's just a joke. And then I got out of it, and I was like, that's the whole punchline. I'm fine. The all is one and the one is all. Oh, okay.
It's like, because the spiritual awakening is the realizing that the present moment is all that ever is. So like, there will never be anything more, than this. This is it. Me and you guys talking. This is the ultimate reality. And it's cool when it's like this, because we're all having fun, and it's a lot easier to accept when you're having fun. And it's like this is it. Do you know what I mean? But for years and years, we've had this story going on that I'll keep working, and then maybe next year I'll have enough money to get a holiday resort on a desert island, and I'll relax, and then I'll be happy. And the mind makes all these stories. But
let me tell you about my old job title, my only corporate job. Well, my only corporate office job that I had was due diligence, financial compliance, risk analysis, or like risk assessment, which is it's called exigere diligence, which in Spanish exigere means to exert. So that was all I could think of, was like the whipping yourself, the earning, the self-flagellation of, oh, I have to do this. But the thing that was so bullshit about that industry, and it's well-intentioned, it's for security purposes, but I was in background checks, and what I had to do was comb through every so we would get these orders in, and I would have to comb through people's entire lives based on what I could find on databases and on the internet, and find every negative thing that I could pluck about it, or anything that could be construed as negative, and paint as negative a picture as I possibly could in these dry reports. Can you believe I was in that job?
It's like the ultimate job for the ego, isn't it? And like, not wanting to devalue it, of course, because like you say, you know, it got its place like in industry,
Right.
these risk analysis reports, but or to some degree, maybe not to the extent that you were doing, but it's like the ultimate job. It's like the ultimate ego job, isn't it? Because that's what the ego loves to do. The ego loves to look for fears. It's like, wow, I look for fears all day long, like root chakra.
Oh my god, you guys get it, you're my soulmate.
Like the root chakra was like, yes, I finally found my calling. I get to avoid problems.
Oh my god, you made me snort. Oh, and those people were all so miserable. I got there, and I had just been in Thailand, and basically I got scared because I had my contact experience and everything was coming to the fore, and I moved to Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, you know, not literally, but I moved there basically, and I came into this office, and everyone's like Jonathan, like what you said, like chickens running around with their heads cut off, and they were like, this is the worst job I've ever had of all time. I do not enjoy any moment of any of my time in this office. I hate it here. And I was like, why don't you all just quit? And they were like, I can't. And I, what? And I like, but it was a really good job. It was a very safe job. I was getting paid $50,000 a year. I could have negotiated up to $60,000-$70,000 a year, and had full benefits, full healthcare coverage. And I was so scared because I knew I was on the verge of a psychotic break, and I did not want to be without health insurance when that happened. And that was what was keeping me enslaved there, until I realized that I'm on my dad's insurance plan, Obamacare, which doesn't expire until I turn 26, and I'm still 25. So I was like, well, this is stupid, and I left.
It was like that was the ultimate ego trip, wasn't it? It was like you're trapped in this job, like going through this psychotic breakdown, or your ego's going through this psychotic breakdown due to the job. No! Due to the job, this risk assessment job, where it's like looking for fears, but it
diligence.
But it doesn't want to leave the job because it would lose the health insurance that'll keep it alive when it has its psychotic breakdown. It's like the ultimate joke when you can like step out of it. It's like the ultimate ego trick, wasn't it?
Totally.
Bless you guys. Oh my God, Kevin Durbin is rolling over in his grave. That was the guy who I went to my friend after she quit, and I was like, why is this company in shambles? It's somebody at the top, and it's somebody who is not in alignment. And she said, all fingers point to Kevin Durbin. God bless that man. Lord have compassion on him, because that's something I'm learning too, is not to say, you did this is your fault.
Yeah. And to get back to the anxiety thing, which is of course a huge part of the healing process for all of us, particularly as we go through this awakening. It's because the awakening is the complete collapse of everything we've ever known, because our entire egoic structure is based around worrying about the past and projecting and keeping ourselves safe from the future. That's the entire job of the ego. But the awakening process is like the complete collapsing of everything into the realization that all there ever is the present moment.
Right.
And we create our reality vibrationally from the present moment. So from that understanding, the ego is completely useless, but the ego is like an entity to itself. and to accept that reality, accept the complete dissolution into the present moment is like its own death. So when we're like these beliefs that I need to get a job, I need to get insurance, I need to do that to keep me alive, and if I don't do this, and I don't worry about that, and I don't stop that,
I need a boyfriend, I need a partner, because I can't be by myself.
All this stuff that is like the egoic entity. It's created for itself, and like this, the awakening is the realizing that it's all complete nonsense. And it doesn't mean it can't happen, and we can't have a nice relationship with that, but it's this projection, the story that one day I'll get the perfect partner, one day I'll get the money.
Conspiracy.
And so as we start to awaken and we completely get, we dissolve into the realization there's nothing outside of the present moment. The ego's going, no, this can't be happening. I'm dying. I need to control this and this and this. I'm not giving up. And that's the anxiety. It's the ego is like dying. The ego's watching itself die. And like, it still gets me today. Do you know what I mean? I still slip back into that.
Well, it serves a very essential role. Ego does, because without it we wouldn't have experience.
I think it's black energies that they interact on us, because we have to surrender completely to the universe. But me too, I am some anxiety those days, because me too, I dream, and I will quit my job in, I think, next week or in 2 weeks maximum, because I need no more. But it's not that paying anyway, and I can get another one someday. But it's scary for my survival. But I'm sure I'm going to be okay. And also, I'm planning to do a trip in February. It's been years that I didn't travel. If I quit my job, I'm thinking, I'm gonna be. It's gonna be hard to survive. I won't do that trip no more. But
is anybody here? Is anybody in this group listening in AA or involved in the 12 steps?
I don't know what it is.
No. I've been to it. I've been through it. I know what it is, but I don't. And I have patients very actively into it. But
I have a friend who.
They have a word for ego, for the trickster, the devil, the darkness that says, hey, what? Just one drink won't kill you, or something like that. And I think it's called slick or something. And what comes to mind is this image of the snake in the Garden of Eden, honestly.
We are our own snake, but I still believe in good spirits and guides and what we call God. So I want to surrender, and I'm sure I'm going to surrender for the best. In the next days. I'm sure about that.
And
Jonathan, did you said you have a friend who is in 12 steps?
Yeah, he still is. Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah. Yeah, and to just what you were saying, Danny, the surrendering doesn't mean quitting your job. I mean, it can often be a part of this journey, finding a sort of path that resonates more for us, as part of the finding the calling. But the surrendering is surrendering the voice in your head that says, I need to keep this job. I need to keep this job to get the money. If I don't get the money, I won't have enough money, and next week I'll be happy. It's the letting go of that voice. You can still keep going to work every day, but
like you say, the letting go of that voice. It's not the job itself, but for the job, it's not that good either. We're working for national service, and we're minimum salary, almost no breaks. It's not shining too much, so I think I am done of that, and it's hard to do. We pick up all the energies of the people when we call them, and it's not nice often. Me too, I gave them my energy without knowing, so maybe I should do to think of something else,
But what very often happens is that if we don't surrender, we'll end up losing everything.
Right.
So that
Yes.
we realize we didn't need to worry about it all the time anyway. You know, it's like your higher self is saying, just surrender, just stop worrying about going to work every day. Just surrender and you'll be okay. And you're like, no, I'm carrying on going to work, I'll surrender after work. And then one day your higher self just takes your job away from you. So you just let go of that story and you see,
I ran away from that job. I exited dramatically. I had a mental breakdown at work. I just started bawling at a meeting with my supervisor, who is actually a really I got really lucky because he's a really kind and compassionate person, and the word on the street is that everyone there is so cutthroat and mean. But like, he was like, here's your performance review, and I was like, and he just was like, do we need to go for a walk? Do you need some fried chicken and I was like, and then I was like, I'm never walking back in this door again, Gabriel.
And there's not enough chi in the chicken.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Totally.
so just to quickly finish up on the healing thing, I just have one last point to make about the big thing that's like really helped my healing process on a physical level is doing this yin yoga. And I'll link to the specific yin yoga session that I was doing. It's yin yoga for a happy heart. And what this session's been doing for me is it takes me into a deeply meditative state. Like yin yoga is a very meditative practice, very slow. You spend quite a long time in each pose and go into a deeply meditative state. And it also activated my heart. And like most of the times when I do this session, I like go into a deep peace of meditation. My heart opens right up. Like I feel so much love for everyone and including myself, which has been a big challenge for me, this idea of unconditional love. And just all this deep peace and love energy just like begins to permeate my whole body. And I just go into this.
We put it in your videos.
Yeah.
That is, I had an experience exactly like that. I think I mentioned this in my last video when I was channeling Dr. Seuss and was walking through a Dr. Seuss book in LA. And I met an evangelist Christian, and he was like, the only way to have a spiritual awakening is to be reborn of Jesus. And I was like, that's patently false. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give this guy a hug, because good for him for getting up on a stage in the middle of Venice Beach and sharing his story, because that is his excitement and that is bold. So I gave him a hug and I looked him in the eye and I said, you reached me. And then my heart chakra was like, boom, and it felt like it was just ballooning. And then what came to my mind was the Grinch who stole Christmas, when the Grinch, and it was like, and then the Grinch's heart grew to 3 times its size. Like, that's literally what happened to me. And I started running around on the beach because I was like, guys, I can't have another psychotic break. You know, like, I really can't go back to that hospital and someone's going to call the police on me if they see me. And I was like, okay, just like go for a little swim. Root chakra, calm down.
Yeah, because what's happening in this experience is that your heart chakra is opening, but the thing is your energy is coming, you're going continually channeling up your spine through all the other chakras. It has to go through all your other chakras to reach the heart chakra and open the heart chakra. So that's what I feel love, but that's what the panic was. It was like triggering your fight or flight, your self-perception, your relationship with others, your personal power, and all these were getting, these negative beliefs around, they were constantly getting triggered as the energy was going into the heart. So this is why we stay in the heart for a while, but then we start, oh my God, I can't just stay in unconditional love. My bills won't get paid. Next door neighbors hate me. I'm going to get rejected by my family. I'm not going to make any money. I'll be useless, because all our lower chakras are getting triggered as the energy is funneling up into our heart chakra. So that's why
Will you post a link to that yoga? Where?
In the Facebook
website,
group.
Yeah, I'll put it in. I'm going to do a web page on my website, zenoplex.love, my new website, because so it's there all the time, because it gets lost in Facebook over time. But I'll post it on Facebook as well. But
Yes,
I'm going to have it on. I want
You can, as an admin, you can like pin the post to the top so that even if other people start posting things, that's the first one that's there if you want to.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and so I'm glad you brought that up, Isabel, because like what I was talking about, going into this deep love and peace in the Yin Yoga and activating the heart yoga is the heart chakra is so important for the healing. But of course, we've got to balance the other chakras. So before we can really get rooted in that heart chakra all the time, but just I think in my perspective, this seems to be the most important thing for general health, particularly with a lot of the severe diseases like cancer. Like I remember there was this lady called, I'm just noting down to find her name.
Oh, is she the Indian lady?
No, she's American. She basically.
Anita Moorjani also had a.
Yes.
Yeah, her.
That's
it.
Bingo.
I don't know if she's Indian. Sorry if that was racist in any way, but.
Well, yeah, she's probably. I don't know. It doesn't sound very American name. Well, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, and Anita Moorjani, yeah, she had this experience where she basically got this awful cancer, and she was lying in bed, and her whole body was full of, it was the worst stuff.
Ravaged.
She was just basically, full of leads, holes in her body, and she was, they said, you're going to be dead within a few days.
And she was in some reality.
She did die because she ended up having this through the light hole met God experience, and basically what she learned in her experience, I think she's like, she sort of meets God, and God says, Anita, the reason you're dying is because you don't love yourself. Like, oh my God, you're right. And somehow she came back full of self-love, and she somehow she came back, and it's right. And she came back to Earth full of self-love for herself. And within 2 weeks, her all these lesions just regenerated. Her body totally regenerated itself over a matter of a few days, as soon as she come back to this perspective. Because I think when we don't love it, I heard Mooji say it once, if you don't love yourself.
Wait, one thing about Anita Moorjani, she had a miracle healing that was unprecedented, and it was so baffling to the doctors that they went into total denial and basically said, oh no, that didn't happen, your body didn't do that. Come on, medical community, come on, get a grip, call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I think interesting when something happens that is so far out of someone's belief system, like all those doctors literally didn't believe it could happen. They possibly couldn't even see it.
Exactly.
It's almost like this void is there, and this woman's healed, but they can't process it, so they're not consciously as aware it's happened. And
so it cannot translate. It is impossible for it to translate into their experience, because their belief systems are so dense that it's blocking out any translation of it.
Yeah.
That's what
They
you're saying.
cannot see it. Right?
Yeah.
But that going a bit off subject, but yeah. So Anita, so basically, she brought about this message that reason why we're all dying from these diseases is because we don't love ourselves, and that comes back to me going through this healing experience at present, and finding that when I can go into this deeply peaceful state and just let self-love just ooze through every cell of my body, I wake up in the morning feeling so much better, and I was feeling 80-90% healed. And then at the weekend, I worked too much online all day and got stressed out. And the next morning, I felt crap again. It's like the disease had crept back in, my stressed body. So I've had to spend all day the last 2 days centering it and peaceful and meditating and bringing that peace and love. And so really, I think the most important thing is for self-healing, is to be able to go into this deeply peaceful state, which any doctor will tell you is good for regenerating health, you know, being in deep peace and relaxation. And
How about that?
Yeah. And also like activating love, self-love, like unconditional love. You know, it's like Massaro always said, you know, if you don't love yourselves unconditionally, essentially everything we ever taught you isn't going to work. And it's like, yes, self-love, unconditional love is such a powerful energy. It's like, it is the energy, it's the life force of creation. And
it's the only option you have.
Yeah. And like, and that is the bliss for me. It's like, you know, people talk about like bliss being in these ultimate, you know, I non-separating from the body and going into like infinite consciousness. But for me, the bliss that comes in unconditional love for me, and that being in that deep peace state, it's so blissful, being in that deep peace, deep unconditional love. It's just unconditional love radiating out through myself and through the house and the streets, and the, you know, it's amazing. And it's amazing how fast you can heal.
Yeah.
When you're
one of my teachers, a woman named Cindy Dale, who's an intuitive healer here in Minneapolis, in Bloomington, Minnesota. She wrote a really good book called Illuminating the Afterlife, and she studied with a shaman in South America, and he just said, point blank, any physical malady, any kind of discomfort, mental health, physical health, which they're not so different, surprise, negativity of the soul, backache, negativity of the soul, headaches, negativity of the soul, psychosis, negativity of the soul. He was like, guys, this is a broken record, like, it's simple, it's not. Yeah, and so that's what you're talking about, is transmuting the negativity of the soul.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, and I believe there's a lot of evidence to back this up. That the majority of physical illnesses stem from emotional illnesses, and I believe that like emotional illness stems from spiritual illness. You know, stems from not knowing who we are, not knowing the unconditional love.
Imagine.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious to us when we've gone through it all and come out the other side. But, you know, to a lot of people, this is still, you know, woo-woo stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know. I was really terrified of woo-woo for a long time. Even after my initial interdimensional awakening when I was in Israel, and I was like, shit, there really is a God. But I don't want to, you know, I was still, the woo-woo, the woo factor. That's why we need the aliens to have that's why it would be nice if the aliens said hi in a way that was undeniable, so that we could be like, all right, cool, we're not crazy, there is no woo factor, let's get on with the show.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I feel so passionate about bringing forth extraterrestrial contact, because you can't have extraterrestrial contact and not begin to see the infinite nature of reality
without blowing people's minds.
Because it's connected, because they're on such a frequency that when we're in their presence, you know, and especially if we go through an interdimensional transit into a spaceship in another dimension, you know, it begins to break down the old belief systems.
That tends to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so perhaps we'll end the recording of this video here. So we've been here for quite a long time. So thanks live streamers, or not live streamers, people watching this in the future, another future now,
and past, and all dimensions.
So this will be on YouTube.
Yeah, this will be on YouTube, Darnell. Yeah,
You're gonna be a star, Darnell.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have warned you.
That's okay.
I've been trying to warn everyone at every opportunity, but
yeah, you have.
Yeah, thanks for joining in, Darnell and everyone, and please join us again next week. We're doing this every Sunday at 6 p.m. UK time for the foreseeable future. So if you're watching on YouTube, check out the link to the Nefertiti Mystery School on Facebook in the link below.
Nefertiti Mystery School. Walk like an Egyptian.
And join us same time next Sunday. So,
same time next Sunday. Do you know what we're talking about next Sunday, or it's gonna be whatever comes?
Does anyone have any ideas what we'd like to talk about next Sunday?
Let me see if I can channel one. The big book. I don't know. That's not really related to Nefertiti. Okay, I have a project for myself. I'm gonna get my hands on the 12-step big book. That's my assignment for myself, and see.
What's the big book?
Oh, the big book. That is the sacred text of Alcoholics Anonymous of 12 steps.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Bible.
It is their Bible, but they didn't want to call it the Bible. They just want to say, hey, it's the big book.
Well, I think this mystery school is about exploring, all these spiritual teachings. And from what I understand from my friend that's on the course, he's told me a bit about it. It's very profound, the teachings of this 12-step program.
Oh, shit. I have a friend. I have one of my very dear friends is in Love and Sex Anonymous, which actually I think is a little more relevant to this group of people than Alcoholics Anonymous. So I'm going to talk to him. Maybe I'll even try and attend a meeting and see what I find out. It's like SA, like Sex Addicts Anonymous.
And why is that more relevant to this group?
because we've been talking about unconditional love.
Oh.
And I asked if anyone here was an alcoholic, and y'all said no. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Jonathan, would it be relevant to talk about the mystery of the pyramids?
Sorry, it's sex and love addicts. It's not just sex.
I see, yeah.
Yeah. So like serial daters.
Yes, sorry, Isabel, but it would be okay to talk about the mystery of the pyramids, because I just remember that I saw a serious video yesterday that was saying that for the Sphinx, they just discovered that the Sphinx would be 10,000 years earlier that scientists used to thought. They are ready to say that it was not 2,050 years ago, but it's like 10,000 years ago. That,
hold on, is the recording still going?
Yeah.
Yes, but Jonathan, do you think it would be a good idea to talk about that, because it's very important?
Yeah, it sounds a good idea. I think we'll talk about what both you said. So we'll sort of continue the healing theme of this call for another session, and we can talk about Isabel's big book. So that's the 12-step program.
It's not my big book. It's 12 Steps big book.
but yeah, is that the 12-step program? Yeah.
It is, and my mom has been imploring me. She's like, "You need Alcoholics Anonymous. You need to attend a meeting." And I'm like, "No, not." So, fine, Mom, you win. I'm gonna go to the meeting.
Yeah, I got the point, but is it in respect? Is it in relation with Egypt, or because it's the Nefertiti mystic?
Well,
yeah. And I thought we could explore that Danny's side of the pyramids, because the pyramids, part of the pyramids was, I'm fairly certain, was
third eye.
As a healing that used to be healing. I think there were healing chambers as well.
Yes, and I think it would be interesting to also figure out. They found all these mummified cats, right? So. I think they felt cats being very healing, because not even all the people got mummified, right? Just the gods, and then the cats, or the high masters and kings, or So they found a whole tomb of just all kinds of mummified cats. Is that not interesting?
Yeah. Oh,
that's fascinating.
It is. Anyways, but I don't know. I think there's something healing with the feline.
Yeah, the cats are still in us right now.
Yes.
And
mine
is still sleeping. Yes.
Oh, you have a cat? Can we see?
Yeah, I've got 3, but 2.
Show me the cat.
Yeah, I was actually.
Hi. Who is this?
I was actually reading a post from Bashar about the healing power of cats.
You were? Oh, see, and I've read a bit about it.
There we go.
Yeah, they were saying
So nice.
when a cat purrs, it can do it. It can do it because it's happy, but it can also do it to heal itself. The vibration of a cat purring is a healing energy, and it's
Didn't someone just post in the Bashar group about that?
Yeah,
The vibrations.
yeah.
And I turned on cat purring
so
when I
true.
couldn't sleep last night on a like sleep app, and it was so soothing. Like I miss
It's
my
so
cat so
soothing.
much. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could talk about cats also, yes.
No, yeah. Let's well, we've got weeks and weeks, but let's just go with those three.
All right, next
now.
week is cats.
okay. And just quickly, just before we stop the recording, something came up. Isabel talking about the 12-step program. I went to a non-duality conference in London in 2013. Non-duality basically is another word for enlightenment. That's very funky and cool these days. And there was lots of fairly well-known non-dual teachers such as Jeff Foster and Lisa Cairns there. But also there was this other guy there who was an alcoholic. I'm fairly sure he was alcoholic. He was part of the 12-step program, and he said he was doing the 12-step program, and he basically became enlightened. And he thought this was just normal and part of the 12-step program. He thought he'd just gone through the 12-step program, and then he became enlightened and woke up out of the dream and everything.
So cool.
Peace and everything. And he just presumed it was normal, and it was part of the 12-step program. And it wasn't until a year or two later, or sometime later, that he realised that something different had happened to him, and started giving talks on non-duality.
A lot of people do, but a lot of people do use that avenue and have their awakenings that way.
Yeah, but it is a spiritual process, isn't it? It's about surrendering to God, basically. And I remember my friend telling me one
higher power,
yeah, it's like accepting that I can't do this myself, accepting that there's a higher power, and accepting that this higher power will lead me out of this nightmare. I think that's part of the plan.
With the 12 steps, there was a Buddhist or something that rewrote them a bit, and I liked that version a lot better because the first one is we admit we're powerless and our lives have become unmanageable. I don't like the wording necessarily because I never feel, even though you can let the alcohol and drug take the power from you, I get that, but I liked the wording of this one I read, and I'll have to look for it. I actually took notes on it because I thought it had a lot of really powerful.
It's good for any addiction, any depression.
My parents
it wasn't
met
the same
in
thing,
AA.
just worded different. So it's just how you take it anyway.
Yeah,
My parents met in AA. I just want to say that my parents met in AA. So it's like, please help Rita. I really want to dissociate from that. Don't meet your spouse in AA, kids. PSA.
Very true.
Yeah. And what you were saying,
Bonnie, I want you to please find that book, Bonnie.
I need to find that book. It was smaller. I don't even know if I owned it, but I might be able to find it online or something. It seems like somebody showed it to me, and I took some notes out of it because I thought it had some profound spiritual teachings in it, but it was written a little bit different than we are powerless. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But when we admit we're powerless, that's when we find our true power. Because when the ego mind, admits that it can't do it, when you finally surrender from trying to control everything, that's when you find
that is so true. Like saying with this ego that we have no power basically because
we got all the power.
We have all
That's
the power,
the point.
but we have to let all that go to get the real power.
Yeah, when we surrender, our guides remind us we have power and save us in a way.
Do you know the 13th step, by the way? But Bashar gave a 13th step to the 12th step program. But Bashar says there's a 13th step you can use.
What's the 13th step?
So if you've got a severe addiction, like heroin addiction or something, Bashar says he certainly doesn't want to devalue the 12-step program because he knows it's helped millions of people. I believe it has, hasn't it? But he said there's a 13th step you can add on, which is understanding that the past and the future are both created from the present moment, because this is the ultimate nature of reality. There is no past. Our past is we're choosing our past. There is only the present moment, and we're creating our past and our future from the present moment. So our entire past is just a belief we're creating in our present moment, and we can actually change the past as easily as we can change the future if we believe we can. So so the 13th step, so as using the example of a heroin addict, the 13th step would be to change our belief to, I've never been a heroin addict. And then you're no longer addicted because you've never been addicted, because you're a new person.
That's so beautiful.
Yes,
I gotta say something.
Bentinho talks of that, as well as, you don't have to any addiction you have, and say you've had it for 20 years, you don't have to live that anymore. You can make a change now and step into this parallel reality where that was never even an issue. And it's a whole different viewpoint from right now. And that's what Bashar says, and I love that.
My dad, I'm just gonna say this point blank, he was on crack, and he changes his story. First he told me it was 9 treatment facilities, then it became 11 rehab facilities that he went through. Nope. But he got sober and he did it himself. I have no clue how he did that. That is some mastery level shit right there. But my God, he's so, I really just think that information, the 13th step, would be so beautiful for him to hear. And thank you guys so much for sharing that, because I want him to be free from all of that stigma too. 1 second. Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, right. So that's a good place to end recording. So thanks,
good.
guys. We'll see you, YouTubers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Jonathan.
Someone just told me to be quiet.
Perfect timing then, huh?